Hey y'all, it's Natalie for Not Just for Boys Kit Club today, and I am using the Intrinsic Limitless kit. I am also participating in our Facebook challenge, which is to scrap lift a community member or a design team member. So I chose to scrap lift this layout by our amazing design team member, Nicole Santos. She's so talented, and I thought this was such a unique design, and I thought it would translate really well to the Intrinsic kit. So I have this one photo of me and my friends at dinner last year, and I thought I was going to use that white background paper because she used white, but I actually changed my mind and I go with the cream solid-ish paper in the kit, that one right there, and it is a 49th the market. I'm going to try to remember all of the manufacturers because there are a ton of manufacturers in this month's kit, which I think is fabulous. I love it when they mix and match so many different brands. So I'm just trying to figure out like the best combination of papers, but I do want to keep it light. It's gonna have a grunge to it, but I decided to use this boho baby paper to kind of lighten it up and keep it brighter. So I decided to go with the opposite side of the rest paper by Reminisce, which is that black paper. And I do forget that later on and I have it turned on the rust side, but don't worry, I will go back to the back. So I cut out a circle of the boho baby rainbow paper, and that's by Simple Stories. And then I'm going to pick which paper that I want to do up here. But basically I want the purple. I want the purple to keep it light. It pulls out the purples in the rainbow paper. So I'm going to just kind of cut a circle out of that background paper, just where the black paper will hide it, because I just wanted a little chunk of this purple paper, and there you can see my camera and then you can see my face. Sorry about that. But I'm just gonna leave the paper intact around the edges, cut out that circle there, and you'll never know it because I will cover it up by that other black piece of square paper. But then I put it on the rest side. Don't worry, I'll flip it back over in a minute. But anyway, for now, that's kind of the vibe we're going for. We're really following her design very closely. I pulled out a bunch of ephemera pieces from the Curator's Meadow ephemera pack by 49th and Market. I went with a lot of the rust red color, and I think it's because of the tones in the photo kind of drew me to those, but then I did try to make sure that I pulled out a few of the other colors, the yellows, the blues, the greens, and they kind of coordinate really well with the rainbow paper since there's so many. So I'm just kind of layering things up, which is a lot of the fun of this layout. There were so many interesting bits to look at on Nicole's layout, so I wanted to make sure I had them too. And she had a little tag hanging down with a charm, and there were charms in this kit, so I was like, oh, that seals the deal. That's definitely the layout that I'm using, so I can replicate that little charm down there at the bottom. So I pulled a tag out of the ephemera kit, and I'm going to tie the charm on with the twine that it comes in the packaging for the Not Just for Boys Kit Club. So I'm going to rough up the edges of everything with my paper distresser, and then I'm also going to ink it all up with this black distress ink. So that actually was pretty time consuming. That was a big part of the layout, was roughing up all the edges of all the papers as well as all of the ephemera bits also. I still got it on that rust side of paper, but don't worry, I'll figure it out here in a minute. And it doesn't look bad. It actually mimics Nicole's paper really well because she used like a wood grain. But I just really like the black because there are black elements in the rainbow paper, so I did want to bring those out with the background paper. But I go ahead and I ink it up. So you can't really tell on Nicole's little picture right here, but she has some stenciling and some stamping. So I decided to use the Stamperia stamp that comes in the kit and use this linen distress oxide ink. So it's very subtle on the background, but it shows up nicely because it's a dark paper. I'm going to spread it across the back just to add a little bit more interest to this distress paper. So I did that kind of all over the bits that you can see, and then I get ready to stick it down, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I meant to use the black side. So I think about using the brown side, but I don't know. I'm going to go with the black. So I get my Stamperia stencil out again, and I give it the same treatment I did on the other side. I'm going to use the Distress Oxide in Antique Linen and just kind of use it to put these letters and numbers all across the page. And so it shows up really nicely on this black paper, and it kind of ties into like the creamy color that I have on the background paper. So I really like the cohesion that brings, but then also just another layer of grunge and coolness to this really fun distress layout. This whole kit is really giving me just basic gray vibes, which I love. I miss basic gray. It was so awesome. I loved that brand, so I'm here for it. So I've stuck down my circles. So see how that like kind of brings out, it's not so dark and grungy anymore. It makes it brighter. And so I'm going to layer up the photo on top of my backing pieces, and I'm going to stick the tag under there with the little charm. And then Nicole had some ripped pieces on her layout, so I do them in the exact same places, and she has watercolor peeking out from her ripped pieces, but I'm going to use that same stencil and just have a couple of little stenciled bits sticking out of the two ripped pieces. And then I'm also going to use my tiny attacher to stick the papers on, and I think she used it in hers as well. So yeah, I'm really, and that again adds to the grunge feel of it, so I'm here for it. I like it a lot. I'm just gonna wiggle in a couple of little stenciled letters down there. And then we'll just really be like building up all the ephemera bits, which I won't make you watch me glue all of those down. You kind of get the idea of where I'm going to put them. And yeah, you don't need to watch me stick them down really. So I've kind of just like distributed the color evenly, and then you can see I also brought out the stars, the fabric stars up there on the right. I'm just gonna pull out a couple of those. They're just so fabulous. I'm gonna hoard them, obviously, because they're fabulous. But I do tuck a couple of those into my ephemera clusters. They just give another like oomph to the clusters because they're different. They're not cardstock, they're not, you know, they give a little difference. Oh, and she put her title on top of the photo. I actually am going to take a little liberty with that, and I'm going to put my title around the circle because I really like to follow the line of the circle. And these are little doodlebug letters that are from a previous kit. And I ran out of eyes, but that's okay. I didn't know how to spell Rusty, and so I was like, well, this seals the deal. Like, we're going to spell it with a Y because I ran out of I's, or maybe I ran out of E's, but either way. Off screen, I do go around the letters. I go around the ones on the black paper in white gel pen, and then I go around the ones on the rainbow paper in black. So it just helps them pop off the page, and you can read them a lot better. And you'll be able to see that in the close-up photos at the end. And on the blog. I'm on the blog today. I'll link that down below, so go check that out. So lastly, I'm finishing on the page off with the, I think they're called like the rock collection, maybe something about rocks. But they're like gray enamel dots from Alta New, and they come in the kit as well. And I'm just gonna stick them around the page. Nicole had a lot of great like little sequins and enamel dots on her page. So I'm gonna add a date there on that little tab and then stick it down, and there you can see the two layouts side by side. I loved scrapbooking her layout. There you can see where I wrote around the letters to make them pop off the page. Check out the links down below. The Intrinsic Limitless kit is still available, so go grab one before they sell out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye y'all.